All right, we got an injury report. Texans versus Jets. Unique week. Normally, we react to the injury report at 4 o'clock on Friday. Today's technically a Friday. Hell, I don't even know what day it is. This short week. I took the trash out this morning, and Thursday's trash day. So that tells you all you need to know about where we're at right now.
It's like a Friday-Saturday combination.
It was the first practice yesterday, which is typically on Wednesday. So the next day is trash day. So I went out and took the trash. My wife asked me, what the hell are you doing? I said I was taking out the trash, and it was early. So I had to bring in the trash after taking it out on the wrong day.
They'd be after you.
Yes, they would be. But we got the injury report. Cody Stoots is live in New York. I'm Landry Locker. We got you covered tomorrow, Halloween, Texans, Thursday Night Football, all that. So what we do know Azeez Al-Shire, he's not going to play.
Nope.
Jared Patterson, he is not going to play. No surprise there. Jimmie Ward not going to play. Really no surprise there either, I guess. Although you're a little bit more upset about that than some. And you have Dameon Pierce. Guy just can't catch a break. Durability concerns got to be a question mark with Dameon Pierce. You know, we talked about him last week and said he's your kick returner, and I'll be damned, he's not even going to be on the field. So those are the four guys that are out. What sticks out here? We'll go through the impact of each one, but what sticks out here?
I mean, a few weeks ago, I would have told you Azeez was the scary one, but they've had some really good linebacker play filling in for him. So Neville Hewitt and Henry To'o should get the nod there at linebacker with some Devin White and maybe a little Jake Hansen mixed in. So not super worried about that. Dameon Pierce getting hurt. I mean, this is why Cam Akers was on the team, because the running backs got hurt. Cam Akers made the team because Joe Mixon got hurt in training camp. And then Cam Akers got opportunities because Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce got hurt. And we talked about the trade. The first thing I thought of was, okay, well, these guys get hurt. They were just hurt. Dameon Pierce always gets hurt. Like, the durability is a concern. Why are you getting rid of your fourth running back? And lo and behold, now J.J. Taylor is your third running back. So it's Joe Mixon, Dare Ogunbowale, and J.J. Taylor against the Jets tomorrow.
You sound so offended when you say J.J. Taylor. My goodness.
Well, he hasn't produced much.
Well, he hasn't really been given an opportunity yet. And I don't know that you're going to call upon him, but you are right. That is kind of the thing, running back depth. And there was the concern over Mixon getting hurt and Pierce getting hurt. So I do agree with you on that. The Al-Shire is interesting because there's a couple factors here. Number one, there's two guys that have been playing that have been filling in admirably, given what you would expect in Neville Hewitt and Hansen when given the opportunity. So you feel good about those guys, but this is really the last couple of weeks have been the first time as Texans for Hewitt, but ever for Hansen, that they've gotten consistent defensive reps. Now they're going to have to do that on a short week. So you got to see kind of how they handle that situation. So it's different for them. Meanwhile, you have Devin White, who gave you about everything that you could possibly expect from someone who hadn't played football in a long, long time, hadn't played a game in damn near a year.
Right.
He went out there, played more snaps. He's actually a guy who I don't know how he's going to hold up either. And I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, that's why he stayed after a little bit after the game. So you have that. And then you have To'o coming back. Physically, he's feeling fine, but he's going to be in the mix too. So I think there's kind of a snowball effect with the linebackers. And that my concern there is I think that Breece Hall's really good. I think that Garrett Wilson's good. I think that Devontae Adams is good, but they don't have an offensive coordinator that I think can really take advantage of like the limitations that these guys have in coverage. So if you were telling me that they were going against an offensive coordinator with a pulse and not basically just Aaron Rodgers being able to play schoolyard football and do whatever the hell he wants, although he's a pretty smart guy, I would be a little bit more concerned. I still think it is a concern because of all the previously mentioned variables, but I don't look at it as like as much of a concern as I would if they had a competent offensive coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what a competent offensive coaching staff can do with talented players. They got Jonathan Taylor going last week for Indianapolis. So you saw that, but I don't trust that the Jets are going to do that on a consistent basis. Don't like their staff. They're missing their best offensive lineman for this one. He was announced out, Elijah Vera Tucker. And so I don't see how they're a dangerous situation where you're just lamenting the absence of Azeez Al-Shire. You know, if this was Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens, it'd be a totally different story. It's a Jets team that's, you know, being held together by duct tape and bubble gum.
By the way, the other thing that I was wondering, I heard this on McAfee, and I saw J.J. Watt was extremely offended that the Texans were underdogs in this. He said, "Are you bleeping me like 7 times?" I kind of understand. We'll get to that in a second. But they mentioned that Nathaniel Hackett's still in the Jets building. For what?
Yeah, he didn't get fired.
Huh? What is he doing?
Well, somebody's got to get the coffee.
No, but really, what is he doing?
I don't know.
That was a weird hire to begin with as the offensive coordinator. You get rid of what is he doing?
I don't know.
I just assumed that he would they would let him go home or something like that. But I heard Nathaniel Hackett's still in the building, and I was like, for what? Like, that's pretty distracting to me. I mean, maybe him and Aaron Rodgers play dominoes together or something like that in the locker room. I don't know. Maybe, but to get back on track.
Maybe he's Aaron Rodgers' chauffeur. He brings him to the stadium.
I don't know what is going on. But yeah, the Al-Shire, I think there's kind of a snowball effect there. I think there's something to look at, but I think it kind of gets minimized because I don't think they have a competent offensive coaching staff with the Jets. Now, they have talent that can maybe overcome that. Yeah. But as far as just on the surface taking over, I think Breece Hall is really, really good. I think Garrett Wilson's underrated and underutilized, and Devontae's Devontae.
Well, and you sit here with this Jets team, and you don't want to be the team that all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers has that one last gasp of greatness against, you know, because he's gonna have a game this year where it's like, oh, okay, that was the last of his powers, and he used them in that game. You don't want that to be this game, you know. Correct. Him getting the ball to Devontae Adams, 7 or 8 times, and Adams having a huge day. You don't want to be that team.
Yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that team. So Jimmie Ward is out. We're kind of used to this. It's been 4 weeks. Go ahead. Get it off your chest before we get into the impact. Get it off your chest, man.
I'm annoyed that he wasn't put on injured reserve because he missed 4 games now.
It might be now. In fairness, they've gone 2-1 in that stretch with an opportunity to go 3-1. So they've been able to withstand. And the other thing is, we did see Nick Caserio kind of last year use up all of this stuff. So he's a little bit scared to put guys on IR if they're not 100% going to be on IR.
Well, they've already used Kurt Hinish as a return. One day in the future, sometime, Christian Harris will return.
Is that a report?
I believe he will play this year.
I do too. I think it'll be closer to December than November, though.
Yeah. So we
I think it'll be closer to December 1st than November 1st.
We said bye-bye to him in training camp, and then after the bye, we may say hello to him.
Sure.
And then I would think Jeff Okudah is going to get the injury return at some point as well.
How's up with him?
I don't know. I mean, hip injuries are strange.
They sound terrible. Yeah.
So
hurt hip kind of sounds terrible. My neck's kind of hurt. I think I slept wrong on my neck. That's what I keep doing over here. I'm like, damn.
You seen this new viral pillow that everybody's using?
Which viral? No, I haven't seen this viral pillow, but I need to step my pillow game up. It is thin on these streets. We have a lot, but yeah, I feel like I just keep sleeping. The dog doesn't help either because the dog takes up half the thing. It's just the life.
One day you'll probably have the dog and the daughter in there.
No. She's
gonna want to sleep in the bed.
She's gonna have nightmares. Okay. So the impact of Jimmie Ward out, I think it's pretty big in this game. I think in this game it's pretty big.
From a come up and help in the rushing attack, yes, because he can help with the run game a lot better than Kalen Bullock and Eric Murray can. Not to say that they're useless by any means, but Ward just feels like a guy that's got a bit more anticipation when it comes to slowing down runs, whereas Bullock and Murray kind of end up as kind of cleanup guys on the back end of successful runs. So it does hurt a little bit when Breece Hall is a successful running back and pretty decent running back. So it hurts a little bit not having him.
Good. I feel like the Texans wanted him, and then they got Petrie, but the Jets kind of hurdled him for that. That's what I thought. Swarm in the super chat, Mushroom 713. You ain't never hate. Swarm. Jets will be missing 2 safeties and CJ Mosley. Key will be Rodgers on the sidelines with the run game. Yeah, and I mean, I think getting after Aaron Rodgers as well, like sidelines are on his back. I think that's the key as well.
Yeah.
Eric Murray played a good game against Anthony Richardson. The PBUs aren't going to be as easy, whether it's the ghost of Aaron Rodgers or not. They're not going to be as easy. But yeah, the Jets have their own problems as well. And quite frankly, even when they don't have problems, like heading into the game, they have a lot of problems. They're one of the most chaotic. It's one of the most chaotic situations really in the entire NFL. I mean, they're the only team that's fired their coach for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 2 starting safeties, starting linebacker, starting offensive lineman, their best offensive lineman, by the way. And Aaron Rodgers' buddy, Alan Lazard's not playing.
So. Yep. So that's the impact award. I think this is the game where you probably miss him the most. The impact of Patterson out. Now we think we see Kenyon Green, could see Kendrick Green. Who knows? Aaron Wilson reported that they thought about benching Kenyon Green, and then they didn't bench Kenyon Green, and then now it's uncertain. But we did see Kenyon Green bench last time, so who the hell really knows what the hell they're thinking on the offensive line? I think it can change any moment.
If one of the advantages for Kenyon Green when they were deciding who to put in the game after Patterson got hurt was practice, and there was no real practices this week, there were 3 walkthroughs, then he still maintains that advantage over Kendrick Green going into this one. So, that's I think, I guess, where he gets the first crack at it. But they can't be afraid to try something else if it doesn't look good. This is one of the better defensive tackles they're going to play all season long in Quinn Williams. And I know he hasn't quite been as dominant and as nasty as he has been in the past, but this would be the perfect get-right opportunity for him going against this interior offensive line. So, I mean, if Kenyon Green gets the opportunity, let's see how long they leave him in there if it doesn't look good.
He's not good. Like, let's just accept it. James Clancy says, is it just the fact that Kenyon was a first rounder? I don't think that matters anymore. I don't think at this point that really they care about that. I just think that left guard is Jared Patterson's your starting left guard. I think when you face the Lions, like I think Kenyon Green is your backup guard and your starting guard is hurt. That's how I look at this right now. Like, I know that it's kind of a tough like viewing experience because you've only experienced it for one series, but they scored on that series. They felt it was necessary to make the change. And even your players who struggle eventually are inserted in the lineup sometimes. Like basically your starting guard, Jared Patterson, is out and Kenyon Green is your backup left guard over Kendrick Green. And he's out there, So that's just
0 pressures allowed on those 10 snaps, by the way, from Jared Patterson.
Yeah.
And then immediate pressure when Kenyon Green returned.
Yeah, and I think the communication is probably a little bit better too with Patterson out there, given the fact that he's played center and plays all up and down the offensive line. So I think that I don't think the communication with Kenyon is as clear. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. And I don't know if Jared Patterson's good. Like, I don't know if Jared Patterson's good, but what I would say is I would look at this. If you're a Texans fan and you're frustrated with Kenyon Green, rightfully so, because he's protecting the key to your success and he's doing a poor job doing it to the point where he was benched until the guy that replaced him got hurt. I would just say, look at it as he's your backup guard. Might not make you feel any better, but just know that that's how I would look at this. I would look at this the same way as freaking Phillips filling in for Lassiter. Except we don't know, except Patterson isn't as good as Lassiter, like something like that. Phillips. Who's better at their job, Kenyon Green or Phillips?
Who's Phillips?
Why am I saying Phillips? D'Angelo Ross.
Are you Delshon Phillips, a backup linebacker?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking D'Angelo Ross. Who's better at their job, Kenyon Green or D'Angelo Ross? You're thinking about this.
I think Kenyon's a little bit better. I mean,
who's played better? They did have a perfect passer rating against.
Yeah, Jordan Love had a perfect passer rating against him in the Green Bay game. So I'm going to go with Kenyon. Kenyon's better, but it's close.
It's tough. You got to think about it.
Yeah.
Turo swarming the super chat. Why is Kenyon Green regress so much? When did he regress? When was he good?
Yeah, what was he regressing
college?
from?
You going back to college like with Jimbo? I don't know. Like a lot's changed. I don't know that he's regressed. This was the year where he was going to get an opportunity. I think this has kind of been what we've seen from him in the doses that we've seen him on the field. I don't know if there's been a regression or not. He hasn't reached his full potential, but I wouldn't call this a regression at all.
No,
like Jalen Petrie regressed from year 1 to year 2, and then they found a role for him. Like that was regress. I don't think Kenyon Green has really regressed. You
have to be consistent at something and then be bad from that level. Like he's never been consistently good, so he can't have regressed.
Bird Boy says Jordan Pun says that teams are interested in trading for Kenyon. What are your thoughts on that? I didn't know Jordan Pun broke news. I'm assuming that he's quoting what Jeremy Fowler said on ESPN. I don't. Jordan Pun's in Canada, isn't he? Like he's doing like he's got a good job with The Athletic. He's like a graphics guy, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
I would assume that he was quoting what Jeremy Fowler said. I don't listen to Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy Fowler is like the same guy who, when the Texans weren't going to get Bryce Young, he said they could take CJ Stroud, or they could look at Will Levis, or they could look at Anthony Richardson. Like, I don't know. And who wants to really trade for Kenyon Green? Like, what's the price there? Who knows? Maybe he ends up being a good backup guard, and maybe he ends up being serviceable. But I would have to get the full context of what Jordan said. I didn't know that Jordan was in the news, but he's really, really good at what he does. I'll say that. But I didn't know that he was reporting anything. I'm assuming he's saying what Jeremy Fowler said. Guillermo can't stand Fowler. Yeah, he's kind of annoying, if we're being really, really honest. The impact. What's so funny? You think I should have more of a filter? Like, do you want me to be honest? I'm a consumer, Cody.
I liked the way that you.
Jeremy Fowler annoys me when he's on TV. He annoys me.
I agree with you. I just like the way that you phrased it. It made me laugh.
Yeah, he annoys me. I don't enjoy when Jeremy Fowler is on my TV screen.
Could you get the Mark Ingram deal for Kenyon Green, the latest, most conditional 7th round pick possible?
Is that worth it? Like, don't you need a backup left guard? Like, as much as we're saying this, not like
it's not worth ejecting him for nothing.
Yeah, like if look, Kenyon Green's not good. He knows the system though. There's like something like it might just be good for him to get a change of scenery eventually. But do I just want to throw away Kenyon Green for a 6th or 7th round pick? Not really. Like I don't really want to do. I don't want to do that. Like, I want to
say we're getting like a player in a different position or something. But even then, like, what kind of player is Kenyon Green returning?
I want to see what Jared Patterson can do, and then I want to see, and then I want to see if they have to, if CJ has to get it done with Kenyon Green and make do with what he's got, then so be it. I'm fine with that. The impact of Dameon Pierce out. So this one's interesting. You got your backup running back is out. So now Dare Gumbawale moves back to that RB2 spot instead of that kind of 2A, 2B type of joint. Your kick returner's out, which, I mean, essentially you're gonna only return a couple of kicks. It's perfect weather. My biggest takeaway here is, first of all, we got to start questioning the durability of Dameon Pierce. Like, as much as we wonder, can Dameon Pierce be a good RB2? Like, between his rookie year and now and what we've seen, like, the durability issues got to be like somewhat of a concern with Dameon Pierce at this point. Right?
No doubt. I've been trying to pull up his career game log and see he's got to be pretty close to missing as many games as he's played.
Yeah,
it's got to be pretty close because he got shut down. So he missed 4 his rookie year, 3 his second year, and he's already missed 4. He'll miss his 5th. So 7 and 12 games. He's already missed almost a season worth of football.
Yeah. Someone's asking, why did we trade Cam? I don't know. You were kind of questioning it at the moment. I didn't think it was like the biggest deal. There's been 2 moves that have come into question. You want to get to them? Like, there's 2 moves that the Texans made from August to now that are being questioned right now. And they were initially questioned. This isn't just complete hindsight. This isn't, that there are 2 moves that are being questioned right now as the season goes on. And I want you to tell me if they're fair or foul. You want to get into it?
Or we start with Akers? Is that what we're starting with?
Yeah, we're starting with Akers because you were one of those guys. Like, man, it seemed like kind of a favor. And I remember our conversation. I'm kind of remembering our conversation. My whole thing was it felt like the Mark Ingram trade, except the Texans were actually good. Like when the Texans got rid of Mark Ingram and they sent him back to New Orleans when they were asked, and it was David Culley. Like it was kind of like, oh, well, they're just doing a favor. People don't like the Texans, so you're getting in good graces. And Mark Ingram, quite frankly, could be counterproductive because he's your best running back, and you're probably trying to lose games if they're being honest with themselves. So, there's that. But this one was interesting because this is a guy that was arguably, I think it was debatable, your second best running back, and you got rid of him. And that was the problem, and you didn't get much for him. So is it fair? I'll ask you this. I'll ask it this way. Is it fair to question the trade of Akers?
Yes. Yes, it is fair to question the trade of Akers because now you're one snap away from Dare Ogunbowale being your starting running back.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon gets hurt, and Dare Ogunbowale is running back one.
That's knocking on wood, dude, just for you even saying such a thing. But yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think it's fair, and I think it was questioned. Now, the other one that's kind of emerged, and I find this one fascinating. Noah Brown coming off the Hail Mary catch. I think up to this point, I don't know that Noah Brown would have been much of a contributor for this ball club because he's not better than Stefon Diggs. He's not better than Tank Dell. He's not better than Nico Collins, although he could have filled in for Nico while Nico was out. But I do think Xavier Hutchinson has taken a step forward. Hasn't done what Noah Brown did in certain spots last year, but you can make a case he really hasn't been called upon because you've usually had at least two of your top three receivers. It's the opportunity he has tomorrow is similar to the opportunity that Brown had last year when he stepped up a few times for the Texans. So we'll see if Xavier Hutchinson is ready to fill the Noah Brown void. Do you think it's fair, though, to question the Texans for getting rid of Noah Brown, given where they are right now and given the fact that Stefon Diggs is out for the season and Nico Collins has missed time?
Yes, it is because it's not. I mean, Steven Sims beat him out. Like they kept that many wide receivers, and Steven Sims beat him out. Like we were talking about, like, oh, is it Metchie? Is it Woods? Is it Hutchinson? Is it Brown? Like we didn't even really kind of have the conversation about Brown losing his spot. He gets banged up in training camp again, so that's another injury-prone guy that we've talked about with injuries. He gets banged up in training camp, doesn't practice, and then the Texans move on from him. Deciding to keep Robert Woods, deciding to keep Xavier Hutchinson, John Metchie, and Steven Sims. It's like you can't tell me they couldn't have figured out the kickoff and punt return thing and kept Noah Brown.
Yeah, I think that it's not crazy to question it. I think it was somewhat of a surprise when it happened. I don't know that he contributes up to this point, but I will say this. And this is just like the overall, like the Steven Sims decision, whether Noah Brown is in the discussion or not, like at the bare minimum, Steven Sims' roster spot has been pointless. Like it's been pointless. Like that's the bare minimum. Counterproductive is what I think most people would describe it as. He's not your best kick returner. He's far from your best punt returner. He's damn near cost you a game. And at times when you're full strength, he's not even worth being active. So the Noah Brown conversation aside, Steven Sims having a roster spot has been pointless at best.
That's a fair statement. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where we're at with that. But I do think that it's important. Like, I think that the Noah Brown pushback kind of gets minimized if Hutchinson goes out there and gives you a good performance when he has the opportunity that Noah had last year, because we haven't seen Hutch as wide receiver 2. We're likely going to see that tomorrow. So I think that's where we kind of assess the decision they made, because I think it could have as much to do with what they thought Xavier Hutchinson could be and how he could contribute, and the fact that you have him 2 more years after this year on a rookie contract. I think that has as much to do with anything. Speaking of which, let's hear from Xavier Hutchinson. Xavier Hutchinson was in this situation last year. We asked him, hey, man, why is this different than last year, year 2, compared to year 1?
Comes with time. Everybody has their own learning curves. I went through mine last year, which I felt like prepared me even more for, what role I'm stepping into now. And it also just kind of comes with confidence in yourself. I found a new confidence in myself this year. I knew the work that I put in the off season would work out. I feel like it's shown. So now it's all about just staying consistent, building upon that, and really just getting the show on the road.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he admitted that his confidence wasn't high. We'll see what happens with Hutch. I like Hutchinson. But the Noah Brown thing, I think we need to see this play out before we get too crazy. I'm not too crazy about getting rid of Noah, but
Noah Brown won him 3 games last year.
At least. I mean, at least 2 for sure. Yeah, he was good. He was really good. Tough guy too. Turo on the super, Swarm on the super. How much is not trying to get Hopkins going to haunt us now? Screw him. Don't need Nuke. We can move on from that.
Remember, he got traded when Stefon Diggs was still healthy.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, that's not. We didn't need DeAndre Hopkins. We're good on that. I wish him the best. If he gets a ring in Kansas City, I'll be happy for him. But in this situation, I don't think Nuke Hopkins helped. Another guy that's going to have an opportunity to produce, John Metchie. John Metchie, man, this guy, very spiritual guy, that John Metchie fella. He's been through a hell of a lot. We all know this. Last year, he had a chance to step up against the Jets. That didn't go according to plan. You can tell what my theme was yesterday in the locker room. Is Metchie ready this year?
Out since preseason, my process hasn't changed, regardless of what happens on Sundays, So it's just staying true to your process as far as like how you prepare, how you take care of your body, how you focus in on your craft. Because regardless of who you play and like whoever the opponent is, it's all about your craft. It's all about your craft and how well you prep for what you're about to see and who you're about to play.
Last season, Tank went down before the Jets game. There was talk, Metchie's going to step up, and the game didn't go according to plan. Is it nice, even though control what you can control, to get kind of a second opportunity to walk into that same stadium, same expectations and everything?
I think that's the same thing. I think that's buying into that same type of speculation. I kind of leave all outcomes up to God. What people talk about as far as getting your opportunities and things, nobody really knows when your opportunity is going to come but God, And if I stand true to that, then it keeps me present in the moment and ready whenever that time does come, instead of kind of listening to when and blowing with the wind wherever it goes,
All right. That's good mindset. We'll see how it works out tomorrow in New York City. Turo on the super chat.
Before we get to Turo, I'd be very interested to know what Nick Saban thinks about John Metchie, because it feels like Metchie was like one of the easier guys to coach for Saban with like that mentality and kind of how he approaches football. Feels like that's a guy that Saban didn't really have to spend a whole bunch of time, managing what he brought to the table.
Do you think he was always like that though? I mean, I'm sure there was like an example of it, but do you think that maybe like going through cancer kind of like maybe like intensified his current mindset perhaps?
Certainly. Could be the case. Certainly.
Yeah. Who knows? But he's confident, I guess. We'll see what happens with Metchie. I'm rooting for him. I mean, I think at the very least, confidence level, Metchie, Hutchinson, don't know. They're easy to root for. And maybe Dalton Schultz has a nice game as well.
If you could tell me like who I believe is going to help the most at wide receiver is different than who like would be the coolest to have a big game at wide receiver. Yeah. Like obviously Metchie having a big game.
For me, like the one that I would most want to have the big game would be Hutch. I like Hutch. Hutch is my.
I would like for it to be Steven Sims so we could just both sit here baffled by how it happened.
Hey, I would love a justified roster spot for Steven Sims, quite frankly. Hey, I think we can relate to that. We've been in the same fantasy league for what, a dozen years? How long have we been in the
Gosh, I think it's almost 15 at this point.
Yeah, and there's someone in the league, I won't mention his name, but sometimes he doesn't bring much to the table to the draft. But every once I remember one time he brought I think 6 bottles of liquor or something like that, and it was like, damn, okay, you're justifying your roster spot. that's how I feel if Steven Sims goes out there and does his thing. Who's most likely to be traded on our team? Who makes the most sense? Do they need to trade anybody?
I don't know that I don't know that they would get rid of anybody.
Yeah, I don't know that they would be trading anybody. Maybe trade for a receiver or a guard or something like that. Maybe even a running back. But I don't know that they're in position to where they're looking to trade guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Space City Ballers with the all caps. This is when you know he's serious. All caps, not all cap, all caps. Mark my words, Hutchinson tomorrow, 5 catches, 90 yards, and a tutty.
That'll be he'll eclipse his season-long production. He might even double it with that.
Where'd you get that water?
What do you mean when I get the water?
Where'd you get that water right there?
I brought this from home. This was my airplane water bottle.
So did you take that from the practice facility? Are you stealing stuff?
Buddy, you leave with 7 waters every day.
No. Hey, but I drink.
I saw you.
I'm not hoarding though for travel. All I'm saying is I know that that's the water that they have there. So what are you just throwing them in your bag and like taking them home to the fridge or something? Because
I'm coming
I know damn well you didn't buy that water today. So you're stealing water.
No, I didn't bring it. I didn't buy it in New York City. I brought it because I needed a resealable water bottle. That's not my usual water bottle. That if I lost it, it wouldn't be a big deal.
So you drank that water and then you refilled it.
Yeah, it's an aluminum can with a lid.
I think Cody's stealing water from the facility, guys. We got to keep an eye on this. You're not getting by me, buddy. I'm a very investigative guy. Is Cody Stoots stealing water from the facility?
I took this water bottle home because I had a purpose.
The empty bottle, huh?
I had a purpose for it.
I wondered where that box went the other day that had a full 20 in it. It kind of disappeared. I was kind of walking out. You're going to grab my water in that box.
You had your eye on it because you usually take it.
No, I take 2. I'll double fist some waters, but they ain't going in my fridge. They're on the road. Something's going on. I think you took that box and fit it in that back. That backpack did look a little thick the other day.
You want a refrigerator tour when I get back?
Dwyane on the super.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
That's not just any Dwyane. That's Dwyane from Platinum AC and Heating, baby.
Shout out to Dwyane from Platinum AC and Heating. Man, you need that heat right now, though. If you're me, some people can deal with that. You need that heat. Dwyane will bring the heat, the AC. I think still need the AC as well for sure, but we're getting into heater season now. 2-part question between Hutchinson and Metchie. Who do you think has a higher ceiling? I think Hutchinson does. My answer would be Hutchinson, and there's a couple of reasons why. But I'll let you answer the question. That's your dude right there.
I also believe Hutchinson has the higher ceiling. He's shown a little bit more at the NFL level on a consistent basis than Metchie has.
For me, I would say he has the higher ceiling because he's under control for 2 more years. We've seen him produce more consistently when they've both been healthy. So we've seen him produce for at a higher level, and he has 2 more years under contract. So I think you have a little bit more time to develop him. Flying out of NYC in the morning, who has good pizza? That's something where Cody Stoots should ask Jake Asman, and then Jake Asman should tell Cody, and then Cody should text Dwyane and let him know. So Cody will do the scouting on that.
You know who hooked me up with the premier pizza recommendations? Rafi from Craft Pita.
Ooh, he knows grub.
He put together a walking pizza tour for me on Friday.
Ooh wee.
He said for $30, it's one of the best New York City dining experiences he's ever had. And it beats some of the 5-star restaurants that he sat down and had meals because he enjoyed it so much.
Damn. I like eating in Chinatown when I'm in New York. It is crazy. They got like karaoke bars. They got like 20 karaoke like phone booths. Like you go in there and you just do your own like personal karaoke like in the restaurant. Crazy. The food court. But yeah, get that. I
got you, Dwyane. I'll send you a text.
Yeah. Damn. That's legit. Jake Johnson swarming the super chat as well. Honestly, I just don't see some O-line pickups. The wide receivers don't matter with CJ running for his life every down. And good O-lines make everyone else on the offense look better. I think good running backs can make the offensive line look better.
We've watched it this year.
Yeah, and we saw it last year. I mean, hell, the argument with Dameon Pierce was no one can run behind this offensive line, and then Singletary did better.
Yep.
So I mean, I think there is that element. I don't know if the wide receivers don't matter. I mean, if you can get open quicker, he doesn't have to hold the ball as much. But I get the notion by Jake.
That is something that we have seen when Metchie has looked good in practices and training camps, is his ability to quickly win a rep and get open. So they've tough week to not have any practices when you've got to try to figure out exactly how you want to use each of these guys. Like Tank's going to be outside primarily, I would think, but do you drop, Metchie into the outside stuff? Do you put Hutchinson outside? How do you use Robert Woods? Like, to not have any practices this week on a short week when you got to reconfigure the wide receiver room is tough.
Someone says, when you see Mixon, can you tell him that we all see his leadership? Man, I don't know. I mean, I've asked him about the contagious nature of it, and he kind of elaborated on that. If you want to go back and check that out, but I don't. Cody, you can do that. Tell him you see his leadership. D'Amico said it too, though.
I'm not going to. I mean,
too busy stealing water.
Yeah, I got you. I'll relay the message.
Yeah, he's too busy stealing water. So, yeah, there's that.
I don't steal the water. The water's there for us to have.
Okay. I got you, sir. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm a smart traveler.
No, hey, I'm just very observant. So I have a little bit of a question for you based on previously mentioned wide receivers. Between Hutchinson, Metchie, Schultz, who do you have the most confidence in having the most impact in this game? Because we've had the Hutchinson. Do you think that Schultz could potentially be the guy that ends up emerging as your number 2 receiver, or have you just completely lost confidence that they're gonna use the tight end, or they're able to use the tight end as much as maybe you'd hoped?
Schultz, I mean, if I could just say it was tight ends, I would say tight ends are going to end up as the second receiver, but just Schultz by himself could still be the second receiver for this team. I just think about some of those big plays he made against Cincinnati. Now, obviously, that was the Noah Brown game, but Schultz had some nice plays against Cincinnati as well. So Schultz, if you told me he's the second pass catcher, I'd believe you. He's the guy that I believe in. I believe in him more than Hutchinson and Metchie and Woods and Sims. So, yeah, I would tell you Schultz is a pretty good bet for me for the second pass catcher.
Yeah, I think so too. Engineer says he doesn't think Schultz has that dog in him. I disagree. I just think that Schultz's body language he's not gonna win a body language contest, whether he's producing or not. And in a perfect world, he's not like a big blocker. I think the Brevin Jordan factor kind of factored in a little bit, just a little bit. It is SNL, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. Texans returning to New York. Right now, the Texans, they are a 2-point underdog on BetUS. They are a 2-point underdog on BetUS. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like the Texans should be a 2-point underdog? I would say yes. I would say yes, and it has as much to do with just the layout, the short week and all that. But I don't think it's like improbable for the Texans to win this game.
No, I mean, this is the least daunting, 2-point favorite that you could play on your schedule. Like the other team's a 2-point favorite. I mean, it's not the most daunting team that they're going to have left on the schedule by any means. Right. I get it. On the road teams on Thursday Night Football have a very difficult time compared to the home teams. Fact. So I certainly understand that being built in on top of just who they're missing, what they have to deal with on the short week. I understand why the wise guys have it set up that way.
The wise guys.
But I like the Texans money line. If you're getting a little plus money there.
Yeah, you're getting plus 115 now, I think.
I like the Texans money line.
So Milio says, are we still getting a late night stream tonight? Come on, brother. Monday through Friday, 10:30, locker room stream. Come on, man. Every night, 10:30, of course. This is basically our Friday schedule right now, because typically we go at 4 on SNL, and then we have the morning SNL outside of that. So yeah, of course you're getting the night stream. Come on, man. We'll be live in less than 5 hours. Come on, dude.
And you'll get the Friday morning reaction Friday as well.
Yep. Yes, you will. Yeah, it's reaction Friday. So we got you covered on that. There ain't no doubt about that. Speaking of the money, man. So last week I laid out a step-by-step way, and all you had to do is use the promo code YouTube 150. This is in hindsight. And I don't do like weekly parlays, but last week I kind of had a hunch. I said, use the promo code YouTube 150, put $20 in. With that promo code, you'll have $45 in your account. Put $40 on this parlay, give you 5 things to bet on, and you'll have $600 in your account. You won't be able to cash out immediately, but you'll have money to play with throughout football season to when it's time to cash out. A lot of people did it. I made a lot of people $600 last week, and I got another parlay this week. This is my parlay. And it's only 3 things. Now, there's some long odds on this. Jake Johnson on the super before you get to this. I almost feel like our defense might outscore the offense. Hey, the edge guys, they give you a chance to win any effing game.
Yep.
When Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter are going, you have a chance to win any effing game.
Yep.
So I have 3 things that I'm going with. My parlay let me get this up. I bet US, my session just timed out. All right, so I have $100 to win 528.
Woo.
That's where I'm at. 3 things. Garrett Wilson over 61.5 receiving yards. Last week I said Downs would have over the 30. I think he had that in the first quarter. Definitely in the first half. So Garrett Wilson over 61.5 receiving yards. CJ Stroud. Now you get really good odds on this. This is going to be tough, but not the craziest thing. CJ Stroud over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So CJ has got to have 2 passing touchdowns over 1.5, and the Texans have to score over 20.5 points. So if the Texans score 21 points, CJ Stroud throws 2 touchdowns, and Garrett Wilson has 62 yards receiving, that $100 will win you $527. If you want to bet 50, you get about $260. If you want to bet 25, you're getting $130, and you can do the rest of the math there. But that's it. Garrett Wilson over 61.5, CJ over 1.5, Texans over 20.5. That is this week's parlay. Wager accordingly, but I have over 100, so I have skin in the game. I'm not one of these jackasses, and I've noticed this trend lately with people that are giving gambling picks. They're not even making the bet. I mean, come on. Like I've seen it too much. Shout out to Bet US promo code 150. But these dudes, I mean, they're giving you all this betting advice and they're not even making the damn bet. I mean, I used to host a show with someone that would give all these gambling picks, and it's like, you're not even gambling. What are you doing? And then it'll be like, hey, you go 0 for 5, you don't hear anything. It's like, oh, you see me go 4 and 1? All the 0 and 5s, brother. I got my skin in the game though. So there we go.
You know what I've had some fun with the past couple of weeks is a Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson sack parlay. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Christopher says CJ ain't throwing 2 tutties. I mean, I hope he does, but I wouldn't bet on that personally. Hey, don't bet on it. It's a long shot parlay.
Leave it out. Take the lesser odds.
That's what makes the parlay better. Plus 150. Take the under then. Take the under, little less odds than, or take the under in the points. It's an over-under type thing. So we'll see how that goes. Any other thoughts about this game? I know you're about to hit the city, do whatever the hell you're going to do in New York. I don't even really want to know. But what's
my Uber driver said, have you been out at night yet? I said, no, I flew in this morning. He goes, the freaks come out at night. I was like, okay, thanks.
What the hell does that mean? Who's he talking about?
I don't know.
What kind of freaks, man?
I don't know. I did not pursue that. I did not pursue that with a line of questioning.
Do you have like your app? Are you like swiping on people in New York? Like, are you like bumbling or something?
No, I don't have enough time to make that happen.
Oh, okay.
I also don't have enough game to make that happen.
Okay. Don't sell yourself short, man.
Lonely Texan in town for one night.
Hey. Thought that's how it worked, man. All right. Well, Yeah, this is going to be a fun game. We got you covered tomorrow at 9:00. Again, no Azeez Al-Shire, no Jimmie Ward, no Jared Patterson.
Wait, we are doing a 9:00 tomorrow? That's new for me.
No Dameon Pierce. Oh, you aren't? Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it solo. It's cool. I'll do
No,
it.
I can do it. No, I got it. I'll be
No,
there.
it's all good. It's all good. You can do your thing.
No, I'll be there.
Nah, I want you so drunk that you can't even do it. Just go have a good
I'm
time.
gonna get drunk before the game tomorrow.
You're not going to get drunk tonight in New York?
Oh, you mean hungover for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got an extra hour, so I'll be fine.
You're not getting hammered tonight.
Oh, I'm getting messed up.
Yeah.
I wrote down my
there's like an
hotel
open
address.
tab. Yeah.
I wrote down my hotel address on a note card so I can just hand it to a cabbie.
Yeah, I would hope so, man. All right. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. Texans got a opportunity at a redemption game. Cody's live in New York. I'm here. We'll get into the Stefon Diggs stuff. Night stream tonight at 10:30. We got you covered. Got some content going through. And then tomorrow we got a game. This is sick. For me, it's not, I'm not really having to physically endure the wear and tear. I enjoy weeks like this. I'm enjoying it. Outside of Al Michaels, I think everything's cool. But yeah, appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon.